Hello, everyone. It's Art Russell here at Think Twice on YouTube and thinktwice.me at wordpress.com. Today I'm going to share some information about identity with the hope that it will help improve the quality of your life and also help you to know a deeper sense of peace. When it comes to identity, the majority of humankind assumes themselves to be the person. This is what we've been conditioned to do. In spiritual teachings, the person is often referred to as the body-mind, a combination of the body and the mind. What I'm pointing to in this video is that there's a deeper I beyond name and form. We could call it the constant one. So, as I said, we've been conditioned to believe that we are, I'm going to use a little I, and it's changeful, and it's got a personal name, and a changing form. Now, despite the changing form, we assume that we're the same self. So this is easy to examine, and how it can kind of seem ludicrous. Well, why do we think of ourselves as that then? So in my case, the name would be Art Russell. But we can look back and think of Art when he was 5 and think, is this really the same? Is this a continuation? Or is this moment to moment to moment actually a new version? Cells are being regenerated at an amazing rate every second. Stomach lining is changed every 5 or 7 days from what I've read. Ultimately, even the structure of bones, things that we think of as being long lasting, they're in a constant state of flux. So when we think of the Art that was 5, let's say he was riding his tricycle or maybe a little bicycle at the time, we can clearly see that this is not the same one now that drives a car, and that has for many years. The one that appeared at 5 is not the one that appears at 10 or 20 or 40. And you can easily see that this is the same case for you, depending on your age. It's a changeful I. It's this lowercase I. Now, and this is the one that suffers. You might say, why is this important, Art? For that very reason, that the lowercase I does suffer. You might say, no, it doesn't. Situations too, circumstances of our life, whether they're in work, relationship, financial status, those are always changing. That field of life in time and space is always changing. So we know that people even say it, the good times don't last forever. Now the reverse is true, the bad times don't either, but people have a negative bias, so they often, when they're going through a troubling time, they think it's going to last forever, and it will not. Nothing in time and space does. To find the peace that I'd like to help point you to discover, recognize in yourself, you already are it right now. But the little I is getting in the way and saying, no, my life is this, judged by the definitions that it holds about itself. Most people believe they are a bundle of thoughts, feelings, emotions, images, status, from moment to moment. This is what they think they are. Now, I also want to speak about a changeless I. Now, the changeless I is impersonal, goes by an impersonal name, often a holy name, or in scientific terms, it might be called the unified field from which everything comes, appears. But for both, we want to know that any holy name or a christened name, Bob, Smith, Jane Doe, cannot be what we are. Or in either case, the uppercase I or the lower. Words are only meant to point to that to which they refer. We use them as a tool. So you might say, why is this so important? To help spare you the suffering that identification with being the lowercase I causes. When we believe that, then we think the ups of life, well, we think they're great at the time, but we know that that's going to change and then there's going to be a down. This is to help us know a more stable background sense of I, the true I that was there when you were 5, when you were 10, 20, 40, and is indeed with us now. If it was not, the body-mind would not be appearing now. So you might ask, well, how do we get to know this personally? Because it is something that you can't be told that you are. Well, you can be told that, but you need to get the peace that comes along with knowing this. We have to recognize it directly. To do that, I highly recommend just getting still with meditation, 2 to 3 minutes even each day. Just timed for yourself, away from any noise, in a quiet room if you can find that. Close your eyes and notice that you can actually watch thoughts. Maybe wondering, gee, am I a minute into this meditation? Am I 2 minutes? Is my 3 minutes almost over? A deeper part of you, the true I, is the one that's watching the thoughts that arise in the lower case I. Even that is a glimpse of something. It allows your perspective to kind of take a step backward and notice, I can watch this character. We can see our person in front of our very eyes. That's easy for a lot of us, not so much if there's a visual impairment. We can watch thoughts that arise, emotions, and we know that they don't last forever. Someone might be feeling lonely on a Friday night if they can't go out and be with other people. But that emotion or that feeling passes. So that's not a constant. The purpose of this video is to help point you towards knowing of that higher self. And it's beyond suffering. It witnesses what the body-mind might be going through. But when there's this disidentification, when a greater, deeper perspective, then we live from peace. You can find out more information about this at my website at thinktwice.me, and also through my book entitled This Taste of Flesh and Bones, which is available through Amazon. I'll leave you with another pointer towards getting to know that constant one, the uppercase I. Sri Ramana Maharshi was a sage who lived in India, and he suddenly realized his true self at the age of 16. He went on then to point others, often silently, to a deeper dimension of self. He hoped to ease some suffering that arises when we confuse what we truly are with the false self of name and form. That's all I have for you today. We'll talk again soon.